Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Thursday the 13th of January 2022. In today's Millwall news, we have comments about the transfer situation as they stand from both Gary Rowett and Wayne Rooney. And here we go. So this is from the news at den.co.uk. They say Millwall boss on Jed Wallace Forest latest, plus bids for Derby and Fortuna Sittard midfielders. Millwall Nottingham Forest had reached a stalemate over Jed Wallace earlier this week, with Lions boss Gary Rowett revealing their championship rivals were not anywhere near matching the club's valuation of the attacker. Wallace, 27, had been part of preparations to face Forest at the Den on Saturday, though he is still a doubt as a quad injury is taking longer than expected to clear up. Forest have had 2 bids rejected for Wallace, and a report from Nottingham this week claimed they were preparing a third. But when the news then spoke to Rowett on Tuesday, there have been no further developments around any potential deal for a week. Millwall offered Wallace a new contract last summer, but that remains unsigned, and his terms are due to run out at the end of June. There are several Championship clubs interested in moving in for Wallace in this window. Besiktas also wants to secure Wallace on a pre-contract deal that would see him move to the Turkish top flight in the summer. News at Den asked Rowett this week if it was more likely Wallace would move on in this window. I can't speculate on any of those things, Rowett said. I've been quite clear on our stance. We don't want to lose Jed, but from a business aspect, I understand for the club it's not ideal if he goes for nothing in the summer. But if he helps us to get in the top 6 in the last 4 months of the season, then that's what happens. Nothing's changed really on that in the last week. We haven't had an offer that's anywhere near the club's valuation, and that always the first step to any deal. Every player has a value, but nothing's changed as far as I'm concerned. Meanwhile, Millwall have bid for attacking midfielders Louis Sibley from Derby and Zion Fleming, 23, who plays for Fortuna Sittard in the Dutch top flight. Rowett preferred not to comment directly on that interest, but said, "We've made bids for good players because we want to try and strengthen anyway, regardless of what happens with our own squad. As often happens, these bids come out in the press in different ways, whether it's clubs, agents, whatever it is. There's no point speculating on offers we've made. That's between the clubs, and we'd always try to respect it and keep it to ourselves. You're always looking to balance the squad out with any of those options." So there you go. Will there be a third bid for Jed Wallace? And will it be accepted, and will Jed go there? Who knows? So let's move on now from the other point of view, from Derby boss Wayne Rooney. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, which is the South London Press's online website, and they say Derby boss Rooney not expecting Millwall target Sibley to move. Wayne Rooney has reiterated that Millwall transfer target Louis Sibley is part of the Derby County plans moving forward. The Lions had initial bids rejected for the Rams Academy product and Fortuna Sittard Zion Fleming earlier this week. It is yet to be seen whether Mill will go back in with another offer for Sibley. The 20-year-old attacking midfielder scored a hat-trick against the South London club in the first game played after the COVID-19 pandemic forced the shutdown of the sport. Rooney described Mill's first offer for the England under-20 international as ridiculous. Speaking in his pre-match press conference, Rooney said, "Louis Sibley's back in training and he's a big part of my plans. Due to Derby County being in administration, they have to accept any appropriate offers they receive for their players according to the EFL." And that was nothing. Apparently a lot of clubs are making offers, and the administrators are just knocking them back left, right and centre. So that's kind of weird. Now I think they are trying to package the situation up and sell it on to someone who's interested in buying a club, so I think they're trying to get out of it that way, but the rules is the rules. Moving on to this. So this is about Danny Ballard and his situation. So we can leave that area in his transfer window. Mill boss reacts to improved return date for Arsenal loanee. This is also from londonnewsonline.co.uk. Mill manager Gary Rowett is not expected to bring in a centre-back during the current transfer window after good news on Daniel Ballard's return date. The Arsenal loanee has been out since undergoing knee surgery at the start of December, but we broke the news that Ballard was expected back sooner than initially expected. Rowett told the South London Press, "We felt as though Lenny and Dan would be at the end of February, so as a manager you start thinking, is that going to be mid-March before they're back training? Which isn't that much good to you when you're trying to plan in a window. But it looks like Lenny is probably similar to that or a little bit ahead. But Dan looks like he's going to be back on either the 7th or the 8th of February. we'll obviously assess that right up until the end of the window and make sure he's making good progress and had no setbacks. It's always a tricky one. If he comes back and doesn't quite enter back into training pain-free, the fact he is coming back a week after the window shuts means it's probably an area we can leave and see if he comes back fine. It's good news. We've stayed in touch with Dan all the way through, and he's pretty keen to get back and playing games, which is good. Good for him, good for us, good for everyone. Talking of defenders and coming back, Mill's Wallace will be back to face Nottingham Forest. That's Murray Wallace, not Jed Wallace. Murray Wallace will be back available for Mill's home championship game against Nottingham Forest on Saturday. The versatile Scottish defender missed Saturday's 2-1 FA Cup defeat to Crystal Palace due to his partner being in labour, but Wallace rejoined the Lions training group today, so that is Thursday. I feel for him and his partner. They had the longest labour I'd heard of, said Mill boss Gary Rowett. They went in on Friday night, and she finally, thankfully, had the baby, a boy, yesterday afternoon. On Wednesday? Friday to Wednesday? Is that possible? They are all good, and that's the main thing. In elite sport, we want to win games of football, but there's the human side of it, where people do have to go through certain bits. Muzzle will be in this morning. He's missed a bit of time, but out of the lads we've got, I'd probably be the least worried about Murray missing training minutes. Jules Saville came off against the Eagles with an issue to his back and neck. He should be available, said Rowett. The plan was they had a couple of days to let it settle down. There was no point aggravating it at this stage of the season. He should be fine. So Murray Wallace there having a baby boy. And apparently it took, so Friday night, let's say Friday night, maybe midnight. So that's basically Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday and then Tuesday. 4 days? Really? That's crazy. Sure, I think maybe just by watching. Now, when you watch things on TV, and it's not real life, but you watch things on TV, and then after a couple of days, they're like, well, they induce it or something. So they give you something to make it happen. Surely they do that. I don't know. Hopefully they're all doing fine, and Murray Wallace will be back against Nottingham Forest, and hopefully that will improve us somewhat and allow us to win the game. So Dan Moss, the saga of Dan Moss, what is happening? So so the Yeovil manager gave a statement a couple of days ago to BBC Somerset, which I shared with you, and he basically said, well, Dan Moss is going to be recalled by Millwall and he thinks he's going somewhere else. And then a story come up on the official site yesterday. Well, they said, oh, he's coming back to Millwall and he's going to be involved in the under-23s. And I thought, well, I don't think that's going to happen. If he's coming back, it's probably to be in the fringes of the first team. But the Yeovil manager seems to think he's going out on loan, which from a National League loan, and the next step up is probably League 2. And so and behold, thus it has come to pass. So this is from news@den.co.uk. Millwall defender steps up into Football League as he links up with former Lions boss. So, Kenny Jackett, greedy bastard, he's got 2 of our players at his club now. Dan Moss has made the step up from National League football to the Football League after joining Leyton Orient on loan until the end of the season. Moss, 21, was recalled from his spell with Yeovil Town and will now link up with former Lions boss Kenny Jackett and Millwall under-23 teammate Alex Mitchell at the League 2 club. Right back Moss made 23 appearances for the Glovers this season, in the last in their 2-1 defeat to Southend on Tuesday. I'm buzzing to be here at Leyton Orient, Moss said on their official website. It's all come about pretty quickly from when I was playing against Southend for Yeovil, but I'm really excited to get going. The football that I played at Yeovil was different to under-23s football, but the amount of preparation I had done, I felt that I was ready to have made that step up into senior football in a National League. I spoke with Alex Mitchell a few times before I signed for the club, and he had nothing but good things to say, so it was a no-brainer for me to sign here in the end. Personally, I want to establish myself to be a first-team player here. I want to start as many games as possible and help the team however I can. As a team, the aim is clear. We want to be on the playoff places and push for promotion into League 1. Orient, who are 4 points off the playoffs, next play at home to Port Vale on January 22. Yeah, Leyton Orient. their good start to the season's kind of bubbled away now, and they're kind of mid-table, but not that far off of the playoff places in terms of points. It's quite similar to us, really, in what we're doing in the Championship. We're mid-table, but you know, if we can put a run of wins together, we can push up into those playoff places, and it's similar for them. But they actually have a striker who can score. Former Millwall player Harry Smith, doing quite well for them, and they are playing quite attacking football. So it seems maybe Dan Moss has come in to help strengthen the defensive side of the situation to help them get into the playoffs, which we'll look on with good interest to see how Dan Moss does in League Two. I don't know the situation at Yeovil. I don't know if they're pro or semi-pro. They're in this national league. I wonder. I doubt they were probably training every day. Probably 2 or 3 times a week. Probably. Leyton Orient, I'd imagine they do train every day. So that will probably be quite different. So we'll see how it goes. So there you go. That is it for today's Millwall news. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.